Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I did like a long form check-in and I have a lot of stuff coming up. So I just wanted to check in with a quick update of where I'm at and what's coming next. Today is actually the 2-year anniversary of my craniotomy, which ended up being a 12-hour surgery that was super invasive. I still remember driving to the hospital at 6 in the morning with Joe, not knowing what the results would be. They definitely were very upfront that I could end up paralyzed or, blind or have cognitive problems, but they were going to do their best to have the best possible outcome. But I had to, be okay with whatever the results were because the tumor needed to come out. I was super fortunate as, I had a, a pretty swift recovery compared to some people. And I had been planning to have my surgery right the week before Christmas. And it turned out that my surgeon ended up doing it a few weeks earlier. And, he had told me I would probably be in the hospital for 2 weeks, then be transferred over to Spalding Rehab, where I would learn to rewalk if it was possible, that sort of thing. But it ended up that I had like a really better than expected outcome and was able to walk with a walker pretty much days after surgery. And, have steadily progressed to where I am now. And, it's a lot further than my doctors had expected me to get to, but I also still am having residual problems. After going through radiation and chemotherapy, I realized that like standing for long periods of time was one of the hardest things for me. So, with my PT, I really worked for months and months and months to get to what I can do now, where ironically I can still run, albeit not how I could pre-surgery. It's a lot slower, and the amount of effort it takes is a lot for me. And I mostly do it just because I have the ability to, and it keeps me sane and makes me feel a little bit like my old self. But realistically, anyone that's seen me go up and down stairs or had to stand in one place for a long time, or bending down and getting things off the ground, even getting out of a car, like Joe's car sits really low to the ground, and just me getting out is like a huge effort some days. It varies from day to day, but in general, I still have a lot of residual mobility problems. In August, I had kind of been wrapping up with my PT. We were approaching the 2 years since my diagnosis. And we were kind of at a point where, we realized that any progress was going to be very incremental. And then about a couple weeks later, I had my oncologist appointment for my 3-month checkup, my MRIs that I get every 3 months just to make sure nothing's growing. And she had kind of agreed that like I needed to start realizing that I was approaching what my new normal was going to be, and that any progress wasn't going to be a large difference from what I was experiencing currently. And that made me have to make some hard choices as far as what I was going to do career wise. Hairdressing is really tough on your body, for anybody who does it. You don't see a lot of 60 and 70-year-old hairdressers out there for a reason. It just, it wears and tears on your body. And working full time, standing on my feet just wouldn't have been possible anymore. And, I really loved my career in hairdressing. I loved interacting with my clients. It was amazing to watch people's lives flourish and grow and watch their families happen and marriages and, etc. But it just wasn't realistic for me to keep doing that. And, I had kind of thought about a while, let me see if I can do it. But, I wouldn't want to start and then, have this lease and see if I could do things and have people on my books and then need to cancel and everything. And it just wasn't realistic. And so talk to my doctors, they really suggested that I try and think of something else. Luckily, I live in Massachusetts, and there's a lot of initiatives trying to make education, higher education, more accessible to more people, especially trying to remove the financial barriers of getting a college degree can entail. So I found out about this program called Mass Reconnect, which if you're an adult over 25, who is a Massachusetts resident and you don't have a bachelor's degree from another college, you can go to any of the community colleges for free, basically. There's very limited extraneous costs. They pretty much cover most of the tuition for you. So I applied to Bunker Hill Community College, looking to get an associate's in accounting, and I was accepted. I'm just waiting to get a little bit of the financial aid stuff squared away. But other than that, I went in on Wednesday of the last week and registered for classes. And the people were super helpful about everything. And yeah, it's funny because most of the people that I'll be in school with, I'm old enough to be their parents. So it's a little bit of a Josie Grossi from Never Been Kissed situation. But, I'm determined to, carve a new path for myself. And, I don't know what I'll end up doing post, whether I'll want to immediately start trying to get a bachelor's somewhere. My thoughts now are that I'll probably try and do something either entry level that they would help pay for the bachelor's, or go into something. I have so much experience now in the hairdressing world, and I know how much people pay to have their books done and everything. So there's a lot of opportunities and ways I could go with an accounting degree. So yeah, excited to start. It's definitely a nerve-wracking thing to try something new. This late in life, I'm 48 years old. But you're never too old to do something new, and I'm very determined to work hard and do well. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of check in with everyone. Thank you for your support. It's been amazing. Especially my husband, Joe. He's been so supportive and encouraging on this journey. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So it's looking like I'll start classes the end of January of next year. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all for checking in with me, and I love you all. Have a great day.